We earn money, save money and buy things. It is impossible to live beyond the economic cycle. What trends are dictated by world markets and how do they affect consumers? Watch it in People and Economy. Today in our program, Expo 2017 – Monetization of flow of tourists and souvenirs. Why handmade is new old tendency of gifts market. Kazakhstan – globalization versus nationality, go for it. 1 billion euros. This is the sum spent annually for purchasing souvenirs. Not surprisingly, the top tourist countries are building state budgets taking into account how many souvenirs will be bought by tourists in their stores. Magnets, jewelry, toys, garments and dishes are the classics of souvenir products. However, they are already put aside by business accessories and the so-called applied souvenirs, for example, which are useful in the household. At that, the main component of this market, including in Kazakhstan, is presented by products with national symbols, which tell about the culture and traditions of the people. During the Expo 2017 in Astana, these souvenirs were sold for 300 million tenge. The items made of leather, clay, silver and felt were the sales leaders. Handicraft, or as it is now customary to say handmade, today increasingly goes beyond the usual hobby and turns into a real business. So did Altanay Kuzimbayeva, an experienced handmade master who turned her passion into a profitable occupation. I do finery, and at first I used to do them for myself. I just wanted original and beautiful finery for every event, and I always did them for myself, rather buying somewhere. Then I started with finery for my mother and my friends, and then I thought, why not sell these products to other people? Digitalization has not left aside this market, so as a platform for sales and advertising, Altanay also uses social networks. Her customers like the unusual handmade jewelry, so she doesn't complain for the lack of orders. I post photos with the description of what materials my jewelry is made of. What is the most interesting, I still try to make up names for my products, some ancient Turkic names like Adila or Adia. This makes the whole process even more exciting. Originality and uniqueness of each product are reflected in the price, therefore the works of handmade masters are not cheap but exclusive. Handmade products are rather expensive because a person, the master him or herself, puts the soul and the time into the creation process. It's not just a machine that does everything the same. Each of my product differs from another one. As a rule, the main component in the cost of such products is the cost of materials. Therefore, any creation, say made of natural stones, looks stylish for a very affordable price, because it is given practically at cost price. Here is a very popular pendant. I'm making it for the second or the third time. I used rock crystal and coral for this. The cost price of it in principle is about 2000 tenge. If I used more expensive hardware like silver, for example, then the cost price naturally would be higher, and accordingly the final price would be higher. The national flair crept into the products of Altanay quite by accident. The girl shares that she always liked to combine modern clothes with traditional Kazakh jewelry. So now this is an inalienable feature of her author's work, which has been already appreciated by the foreign guests, along with an individual approach, which is really valuable for the handmade. Once I made a necklace and the earrings. A foreigner from Holland bought this set for his sister. He explained me via WhatsApp how his sister looks like and what she prefers. He sent me her photo and I made this set exactly for her. In general, I like to foresee in advance what a person might be fond of. The interest towards handmade souvenirs is rising on the eve of the holidays. This is an excellent gift because one can always choose an inexpensive piece of jewelry, the main value of which is in the uniqueness of the master's style. Here we see that I've done the decoration for less than 20 minutes. It can be used as a necklace and also as a brooch for a scarf.
Украшение для шарфа. То есть мы продеваем здесь шарф, и когда одеваем шарф, оно будет висеть как брошка, скорее всего.
According to the adopted state programs, the tourist Kazakhstan is now a priority direction of development of the country's economy, along with fuel energy, agrarian, industrial and other segments. For the first half of 2017, the number of tourists from Kazakhstan in the world increased by almost 5 million people. Inbound and domestic tourism also increased.
У нас частые гости – это иностранцы, которые хотят унести частичку.
Foreigners visit us frequently, who want to take away a piece of the soul and the warmth of our sunny Kazakhstan.
И, конечно, это в каждой продукции.
And of course, every product reflects the culture and traditions of our people.
Традиции нашего народа.
As a result, the need to expand the souvenir market is growing. In Kazakhstan, the most complete and interesting are, of course, products made in the national style.
У нас нету конкурентов.
We have no competitors because we've occupied a right niche.
Есть люди, которые тоже.
There are people who work strictly with metal.
Они работают по металлу.
There are some who work strictly with wood. And we work with skin and felt and also with metal and wood.
И дерево.
We use these basic traditional Kazakh materials and do this in very limited quantities.
В очень ограниченных количествах.
Souvenirs and presents of domestic masters are presented in the most different price segments. You can buy a pleasant trifle for 200 or 300 tenge, and you can spend tens of thousands, for example, on a product made of precious stones. In the collections of large trading houses, there are mostly authors' works, and some are in a single copy. They reflect the culture, history and aesthetics of the Kazakh people. We have a large price range, having products that cost 7, 8 or 10,000 and up to 300,000. For example, this Kazakh national shezhere is certainly an expensive product. Its price can start from about 150 to 180,000 tenge and even higher. One of the inalienable local features is hospitality. Entering the house for the first time, as well as hosting guests, is not accepted without gifts. So it turns out that souvenirs in Kazakhstan are always in demand. Such acquisitions are especially relevant to holidays and family celebrations. New Year, Nowruz, the 8th of March are the days when the sales in this segment grow at times, including on the internet. According to experts, in 2017, residents of Kazakhstan spent on online purchases of souvenirs 4 times more than a year before. The Kazakh souvenir market has its own peculiarity, a wide geography of imported products like pieces of different countries represented here. In local stores you can buy gifts from almost any country in the world, from Italy to China. But souvenirs in the national style are being imported only from the neighboring Kyrgyzstan.
Из России приезжает береста, ложки деревянные.
Wooden spoons come to us from Russia, felt goods come from Kyrgyzstan, and silk and embroidery came from Uzbekistan.
В основном
They also can be produced in Mongolia or Pakistan, but this is rare.
редко, они в основная масса старая СНГ.
Products in the national style are referred by Kazakhstani experts to the high-demand goods, and in this segment local masters have old competitors. From neighboring Kyrgyzstan, for example, cheap souvenirs are being exported, like shoes, felt and waistcoats. The cost of the latter on average is about 10,000 tenge, whereas Kazakhstani masters sell similar goods massively more expensive. If we remove products from Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, we will not have competition, we will not have market growth, we will not have development. We will stamp one and the same, and there will be no sales. The market of souvenirs is different for each country. Ornaments, interior items and simply lovely hearts of magnates and figurines reflect the authenticity of the national culture. For example, from Turkey, Eastern sweets, species and amulets from the evil eye are most often brought. From Spain, luxurious fans for every taste and color are being brought, which often serve as decorative elements. But there are also so-called exotic souvenirs, capable of hitting the richest imagination. In China or Vietnam, it's alcoholic poisonous snakes. In the USA, candied scorpions from Arizona or canned air from New York. The most popular trends of the industry are tracked annually at World Souvenir Fairs. In 2018, the popularity of souvenirs all-in-one is forecasted. For example, a bottle with a speakerphone and a charger function. Anti-stress toys, soft restoring their shape after pressing, as well as spinners are also in trend. The history of souvenirs and the culture of presenting them has evolved over the centuries. Their purpose in ancient times was rather sacred. For example, the Egyptians in the tombs left small copies of what they deemed necessary in the afterlife. They also made figurines in the form of pagan gods. In the ancient Rus, souvenirs were considered a family heirloom and passed down from generation to generation. They were made mainly of clay, wood and metal. The very word souvenir is translated from French as memory. And in this sense, the lovely trinkets became popular only at the beginning of the 19th century in Europe, in the era of Romanticism. Then people gave each other medallions with their portraits, which were especially popular among the aristocracy. And now, as always in the end of the program, a useful tip: how to save on souvenirs during a foreign trip. The simplest solution is not to buy souvenirs at all. However, we always want to please relatives with a pleasant trifle which conveys the flavor of the country. The best thing to remember is not to buy souvenirs in the first days of your trip. Then there will be time to look after this or that gift in advance and not to spend all hard-earned money. It is also unadvisable to shop in shopping centers or airports. In any country the prices there are much higher. It is better to visit local markets and fairs. There is a national color. There is a variety of choice, and in general the fair is held so that every buyer can be in contact with the seller, with the manufacturer, and is able to make a personal order. How to choose a souvenir? First, gifts in the national style are appreciated. If you want to surprise your foreign friends with an unusual gift, then here are the author's options, like this tea dinner set. The creations of famous Kazakh artists are applied on such items. Each collection is a painstaking work of our designers, historians and well-known Kazakhstani artists like Nelly Bube, Bisibek Akanaev, Muhit Akanaev and so on. Their creativity is reflected in every collection of our products. Secondly, people like to receive useful little things that can be used at home and at work. We also have business accessories and desktop accessories. For example, the table clock Korkitata with the clock itself and with the place for visiting cards. And also table statues like Sahib Quran. Thirdly, friends will be happy to receive an unusual exclusive souvenir. Kazakhstani producers offer amazing man-made products: Shezhere, Tumars and Shields amulets. This is a tumar made of natural materials like a real yurt felt. Here is the reverse side. We sew it, apply a pattern and ornament for felt. It is possible to put quite different elements of decor of leather, and shanarak takes its place in the center. These shields are amulets in the form of a star, made of wood and skin. Did you know that the Infinite Anti-Stress Cube is a novelty of 2018 Souvenir World Market? The world's most famous Rubik's Cube has served as a prototype for this anti-stress toy, which looks similar to it only at first sight. Its operating principle is quite different. You can rotate the elements of this cube, 8 mini cubes connected to each other, with 2 hands or with different fingers of one hand. Rotating direction can always be different. Such a puzzle is not a fashionable accessory, but an anti-stress device. Apart from that, this fidget toy develops fine motor skills and, as a result, memory and intelligence. This cube can be kept in a pocket or purse and is absolutely indispensable in public transport or in a long queue. Souvenirs can be very valuable and very inexpensive, useful and simply beautiful, on duty like magnets on the refrigerator, and exclusive, made to the order. The development of international tourism, according to experts, in the next few years will further expand souvenir markets. And so the choice of us as the end consumers will become wider and prices more affordable.